Functions of ecosystem. In last class, we discussed about the structure of ecosystem, right? So next one is functions of ecosystem. The functions of ecosystem include the energy creation, okay, energy creation, sharing of energy, and cycling of materials between living and non-living ecosystem. Okay, so these are the functions of ecosystem, right? So what the ecosystem is doing? Energy creation, that is the plants are preparing the food, right? So that is energy creation, and this prepared food is shared by other organisms, herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, we discussed, right? So that one. And cycling of materials between non-living and living components of an ecosystem. How this cycling of materials is happening between this? As we discussed, the soil microbes, what it's doing, it's decomposing the dead and decaying organisms, and that nutrients will be mixed with the soil, and the plants are utilizing it, right? So now here there is we need the help of light also, right? And the plants are preparing the food, so it using the abiotic components which is available on the earth, right? So everything is needed. So there is a relationship between the living and non-living components of an ecosystem. So both the things are dependent, living as well as non-living. Okay. And before studying the productivity in any ecosystem, we should understand the essential rule of sunlight, because the sunlight is very, very important, which is used by the producers. Producers are nothing but the plants, okay, of the first trophic level, so that we are keeping the plants in the first trophic level. Okay, the quantity of light is directly proportional to the production of energy by the plants. Okay, so we know where will the photosynthesis process is happening in the daytime because of the availability of sunlight. During nighttime, there is no photosynthesis process, right? So how much light? We can't say that the sunlight, the level of sunlight is constant. No, it will differ from climate to climate. The sunlight will differ. So based on that, the production of energy will be there, right? So that it's mentioned the quantity of sunlight is directly proportional to the production of energy by plants. Okay, yes, you just see here. Next one is photosynthetically active radiation. That is in simply how we can say PAR. P for photosynthetically, A for active, and R for radiation. It is nothing but already we discussed that the sunlight is directly proportional to the production of energy, right? So here the amount of sunlight, the amount of light available for photosynthesis of plants is called photosynthetically active radiation. So what is PAR? That is photosynthetically active radiation, right? So the amount of light available for photosynthesis of plants. It will vary from area to area, climate to climate. The sunlight intensity of sunlight will vary, right? So that we are calling as photosynthetically active radiation. So what is the condition for this? So here this PAR, the range of PAR is 400 to 700 nanometer wavelength. Okay, so here that is 400 to 700 nanometer, right? That much wavelength is needed for this photosynthesis process. It is essential for photosynthesis and plants growth. PAR is not always constant. We discussed, right? Because of the climate. So maybe if it is cloudy, if the climate is cloudy, then definitely there will be less sunlight. Tree shades, if it is dense forest, all the plants will not get proper sunlight. Air, dust particles, seasons, latitude and length of the daylight availability. Okay, so based on these factors, the sunlight, the intensity of sunlight will vary. So all plants can't get the equal intensity of light. Okay, it will differ from the place where it is, how it is. So like that, what is the growth of the plant? If the plant is very tall, then it receives very more sunlight. If it is very short plant, which is hidden by other plants, then it will not receive the sunlight, right? So the availability of the sunlight will differ based on these factors. Okay. So here what you have to understand, PAR. What is PAR? Photosynthetically active radiation. And what is the wavelength for this? 400 to 700 nanometer wavelength. And this sunlight, the intensity of the sunlight will differ based on these factors. Okay. And then here of the total sunlight. So now how much sunlight it's receiving, the plant is receiving. We just see here the calculation is given. 34% of that reaching the atmosphere is reflected back to the atmosphere. So how much it receiving? So from that 34% that reaching the atmosphere is reflected back to the atmosphere. Moreover, 10% is held by ozone. We know about the ozone layer, right? And water vapors and atmospheric gases, and the remaining 56% reaches the Earth's surface. Okay, not 100% is reaching. Only the 56% of the sunlight reaching the Earth's surface. Out of this 56, what happened? 2 to 10% of the solar energy is used by green plants for photosynthesis, while the remaining portions is dissipated as heat. Okay, so now altogether 56% only the earth is receiving the sunlight. So out of this, how much percentage of the sunlight is used by the plants for photosynthesis process? That is 2 to 10% of the solar energy is used by the green plants for photosynthesis process, and the remaining will be wasted as heat. It will be eliminated as heat. Okay. So now here power is generally reported as millimoles per square meter per second by using silicon. So here what is the unit we can do for this power? Okay, so millimoles per square meter per second by using silicon photovoltaic detectors. Okay, so using this detectors, we can detect only 400 to 700 nanometer wavelength of light. So to detect this part, what is the instruments we are using? Voltaic detectors we are using. Okay, so what that is silicon photovoltaic detector. So this is very important part. How we can measure the power wavelength. So that is silicon photovoltaic detectors we are using to measure the wavelength, that to 400 to 700 nanometer wavelength of light we can measure by using these detectors. Okay. Next, power values range from 0 to 300 millimoles square meter, okay, per second. It varies from, right? So it varies like this. And during night time, the power level is 0 because there is no sunlight during night time. Okay, so during midday, the power often reaches 2000 to 3000. Okay, so 2000 to 3000 millimoles it will. Clear? Okay, so this is power. So power is nothing but the availability of the sunlight and the utilization of the sunlight by the plants. Okay, and how we are measuring this availability of the sunlight. Clear? So that is power, right? Yes. So in the next session, I'll explain about the productivity of an ecosystem. Hope so you understand this concept. Thank you.